I believe we're done here. Okay. You wanna look at, Cosima's armband? It's not as fun when it's not yours. Yes, yes! This is one of our great Empire's first-rate lawyers! Which means, of course, you stand by my side, you defend me! No, sorry, that wasn't why I was showing it to you. I was possessed. Not the best thing to be hearing in a foreign. Then why else would you show me that? In hindsight, that probably wasn't the best idea. Oops. Why did we show that? It's just on our person. Okay, there's something more to do, but what? I'm stuck. Oh! What's the Japanese delegation doing here? Inspector Gregson! This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware. Yes, of course! We're here to investigate! So you've been into the holding cells, huh? What'd you make of the criminal? He's not a criminal as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect. We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens, and the verdict's a foregone conclusion. Oh, stone cold air of rejection. Sorry, is that bad, Mike Peak? My bad. Take heart! London at this time of year is full of stone cold air. Can you stop doing that? That makes it worse somehow. It was blue, wasn't it? Oh dear. Alright, you want to talk, sir? Scotland Yard. Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, I've been fascinated by the place. The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organisation you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am. Ooh. Oh, and you know, I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet. Oh yeah, you wanna hear her out? Maybe. For funsies. It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You can certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful? Dashing! Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell ya. Really? First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes round and rouses all the labourers on his beat so they can get off to work. He wakes people up. Yep, raps on their windows with a long pole. I did it myself going back a bit. I had no idea. The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance. I can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way. Let me see. 20 miles. That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama. On foot! That's definitely taking things a step too far. When it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps. Oh my. And I suppose in between all those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well. chase after criminals trying to evade the law. Not sure you call it in between exactly. More alongside. But yes. You're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit. I always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. It is with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. Good heavens. You got anything more to say about this? It happened around 5 in the evening, 2 days ago. Just there, on that bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind. Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in the hospital. I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find much about her at all. Suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Are you sure? It's the odd policy to give lawyers, defendant suspects the odd bit of information to go on. Haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still. Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept. Okie dokie. Shall we have a look? Anyway, I'll be back, sir. Okay, cool. Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countrymen. Well, who are the witnesses going to be? What the heck? So who did it, you think? Not much of a head scratcher, is it? I don't know, mate. Sir? Well, I know Mr. Nutsmere is also claiming to not have seen anyone else around, but just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we have to be sure that nobody else was present. I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure. How? Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. So there are witnesses? But what? You just said there was no one else around. What is this? We have 2 very reliable witnesses, no less. It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them. There were witnesses now. Can you tell me more about them? Who are these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife. And the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard. A policeman. That might change things. This policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked. Nothing peculiar about that, madam. Part and parcel of being a bobby, catching them banging the act and all. Do you think it might be possible for us to ask the policeman a few questions? Being my guest, you can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow. Oh. No doubt he will be summoned as a witness. So, that'll give you something to look forward to. What's that then? He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems. A policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Yes, one more thing, Inspector. What? The person who led you to the suspect. I hear that it was Mr. Herlock Sholmes. What are you bringing him up for? Was it something I said? The colour has drained from his cheeks. Well, let's talk about tomorrow's trial first. A twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not? Give me back that map then. Makes no difference to me, but I'll just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey and his glorious hallowed chalice. There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It's all a bit strange though. Sorry? The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now. Yeah, what's that all about? And he decided to come back when we arrived. Ooh, must be fair. We did hear something to that effect. The only people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals. The violent ones. You seem to have some beef with, the gilded master criminals? The violent ones? You haven't had those for years, apparently. That's right, he handpicks his victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Nutsman wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely? It's just my point, Sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. Well, this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. It's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason it's taken an interest. Really? What sort of reason, Inspector? You think I could tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. We're really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he puts it. Mr. Sholmes. You hesitated. Who did you hear that name from? Well, it was Mr. Nutsmere who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings. I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Sholmes' inspirational great deductions. Fiddle faddle! Ah! The man's an amateur. I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. I don't know where he gets his information from. He turns up at the scene of crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? Gibble gabble! Ah! Ever seen this before? One too many times? Oh yes, that's Rand's magazine. A wonderful publication in which the adventures of Herlock Sholmes appears. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. You ask anyone at the yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Sholmes tale at all. Well, I suppose there's an element of that. We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be thrown by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals. Can't really be true, can it, Inspector? Clearly the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective. This one. Looks like you want to get back to your fish and chips. Mr. Nuttlehood, can I make a suggestion? Oh yes, what is it? Well, it seems to me we must speak with him about this. By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, exactly. Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? And neither can you, my dear audience, if I have one. Well, Mr. Nodsmith did blame Mr. Sholmes for this, didn't he? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again. Well, the trouble is, you have no idea of the man's address even. It's Baker Street. How do you know that? We got doxed. It's in the stories, of course. 201B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. Better try to find our way there before Sir Subtlestone gets any more excited and unpredictable. Oh, the fangirls. Summon a carriage. So, we're to have a reunion already. Perhaps another dance? With the great detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes? What? Is it on the itinerary? Oh, heck yeah. Let's snoop. Oh, I shall pinch, but I can't because you're... Never mind.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Sherlock Sholmes.
Seems well off, don't he? Alright then, let's snoop, shall we? So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. Good heavens. Is it just as described in the stories, Mr. Subtle? You're right, love. Subtle-san. Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. I suppose they must have been, yes. I've never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be. The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. listen, can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo? I suppose I can, yes. Very much like to, but, So, if you don't mind, I'm gonna touch everything in case he's touched it. Oh. Just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a little while longer. Please, don't mind me. I don't think it's me you should worry about. It's his place. Where is he? She's obsessed. Well, it looks like our detective friend isn't home at present, so I don't know how we got in here, but... Alright. Excuse me, is anybody home? Oh, do we have a visitor? Hello, is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes? Hello? Hold on a second. We've seen you, haven't we? Aren't you... How rude of me! I'll go and make some tea at once. You're very casual about us snooping around here. Sorry about that, love. I'm sure it's the same girl. Miss Sato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case. The King of Bavaria? King Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund von Ornstein, of course. Stein. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a second and look over there! The tea's brewed and have a freshly baked cake as well. You got some fried vocal cords with that too, love. It's you! I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. There you are! And taking that with you as well! I was looking forward to the trial of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Good day to you. I'm the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilda's trial in the defendant's antechamber. I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London. Yes, it was challenging. Strongheart said it was going to be easy. Lies! Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know. Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that colour? Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavour! Hooray, it's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here. You've another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck. Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance? You know Hurley, do you? Hurley? Mr. Sholmes, you kid. Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was it really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial. And only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, you think? Perhaps more to the point. Why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite? Silly me! I haven't introduced myself, have I? No, you have not, dear. It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. I live here together with Hurley. Ah, Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What's the matter now, Susato? Wait, this can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter with Susato-san? She's flustered all of a sudden. Does the name not strike you, mate? It could be another Wilson. Yes, that's right. What are your names? Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan. Sorry? I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotoba. It's wonderful to meet you. Lovely. Susie and Runo. Got it. Susie? And Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. So many questions. I don't know where to start. Yes, and so do I. Well, let's converse, shall we? Hello, love. Nice to meet you, love. Iris. Tell me more about yourself. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey. Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much. Oh no, not at all. I'm sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though at the time we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. Where'd she go? Oh yeah, the bazooka. Like this. Can you not... Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you? Yeah, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade. Oh, Ginny! Yes, she's a professional pickpocket. So we found out. It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that. Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption? Exactly, so I followed her, you see, to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my inventions. This girl is dangerous. Wouldn't want to get on her bad side, I shouldn't think. Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that. So she could apologise to my trusty technician. Your technician? Hurley, of course, silly. Well, he's not here. Hurley? Yes, Herlock Sholmes. We live here together. I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter. Daughter? Not likely. What? I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I? Well then, what's your relationship with Mr. Sholmes then? Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate. Your roommates? What happened to your voice? I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10 at last this year. Whoa, what of your mother and father? Oh no, they're not around. I see. I wonder what the story is there. Should we probe more, maybe? Oh yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course. Go ahead, Susie. I'm a very great fan of the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, and you have a copy of Rand's magazine. Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Shipping must be expensive. This is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world. My stories? As in you? That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard of them, don't you think? Goodness! Last night he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship and travelling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. So you are the author? Yes, I'll let you in on a secret if you like. I'm going to call this latest adventure The Speckled Band. The Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar. Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories here and there. This time I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble. That was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually. Yes, and of course, I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but it's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you? So, do you mean to say are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Rand's magazine all written by me? Yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter. But not all the stories I've ever read. I've written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson. Sasato's getting more and more worked up. Yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. Well, what about the doctor of medicine part? And the John part? That's all true too. I am a doctor of medicine. No! At 10 years old? What am I doing? At 10 years old. Well, it's quite incredible. It's unbelievable, I must say. Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the story to be more compelling. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? Great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow. I suppose it does, yes. Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world had just fallen apart. Her life was a lie! How do you know all that, you nosy? About before. What's on your mind, Bruno? Do tell me. How did you know that I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London, I mean? Yes. And then we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted. Although, it's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Wilson is proud to present her logic and reasoning spectacular. First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Bruno. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber. Okay, true. You also said that we only just arrived in London. How'd you get that information? I observed a passport and travelling ticket protruding from your breast pocket. Was that always there? Okay. It's just sticking out all of a sudden. So I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs. We won, didn't we? The Reaper of the Bailey. I walked right into that one, didn't I? And I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with the suspect, weren't you, earlier today? Was that always there? They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realise. The red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, that told me that even though you only had yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGill, the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have had accepted a new case. Did we? I see. But how could you have known that the trial was tomorrow? Well, having barely been at home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me he caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. A Japanese man? Clearly that must have been Mr. Matsume. Now, Bruno has a fancy Japanese sword. It's not a sword, it's a cosmic soul. Did we not establish this? I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both came from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. There was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his nose with a knife, you see. He is silly. Silly doesn't even begin to... Good heavens. And that's all it was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct? They were spot on. It was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction. You even managed to discern something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery. What? I was just copying Hurley's style for that. Sorry, I didn't catch who actually said that. Sorry. This is very good news. Really good news. The je ne sais quoi. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please! The case of the Japanese man. So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying? Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage. But the police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene. The great detective is a popular man, it seems. Apparently, a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene. A short, shifty-looking, stooped man. Mr. Natsume, beyond any doubt. Soseki-san said he didn't see anybody else on the streets at all. But it seems there were witnesses after all. Hurley used his great deductive powers to determine the man's address. There was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police, and what did they find? A short, shifty-looking stooped man, shivering in fear. Mr. Sholmes' great deduction certainly hit the mark at that time. Of course it did. He's a great detective. Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow is too soon for the trial, isn't it? Definitely. We have no time to investigate properly. Hurley says that London is rife with crime. Oh? Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently. Oh dear, I hadn't realised the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Crimes are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. It's terrible! I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system. I suppose it is. But in that case, I don't hold out much hope for Soseki-san. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative. You're most welcome. I've had so much fun. Do you happen to know where Mr. Sholmes is at the moment? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well. Oh well. I expect Hurley is still investigating the scene. Of the case involving Mr. Natsume, you mean? Yes, Mr. Natsume? Hurley said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where those lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Did you happen to come across a detective by the name of Gregson when you were there? Yes, we know Inspector Gregson. Oh, goody. In that case, give Gregsy this for me, would you? If you do that, I'm sure he'll tell you what you want to know. What is this? A 5-shilling piece and a postcard, it seems. Evidence! It reads, "Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem." Is that so? Let's look. This is a 5-shilling piece, isn't it? I believe it's called a crown. Ooh. Yes, and you can train a Scotland Yard detective to do whatever you want just with just a single one. Wink, wink. Iris must be the most powerful 10-year-old in the world. How much is 5 shillings, by the way? What's it really worth? Well, it's probably enough to buy all the chips the inspector could possibly eat in a whole month. That's greasy. Alright, cool. Shall we flip it over? Oh, wait. Let me, tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Iris was very cute. I see we can trust you, Sisato. It's not something else. Iris's little handwriting is adorable, isn't it? It's legible. Yes, the handwriting might be adorable, but the message is ominous. There's no room for sentiment here. I'm sure it's simply the way you're interpreting it, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I do hope the inspector will tell us what we need to know when he reads it. You don't think it will just make him munch piping hot chips until steam comes out of his ears, do you? Well, that wouldn't be an entirely terrible outcome. Gosh, this won't make the inspector help us, will it? Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Good luck then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band. Oh. And I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon, won't you? I'll be delighted. Thank you so much, Iris. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, let's get back to the scene of the crime for the 3rd time. So, somewhat dubious that would exert any influence over the men of Scotland Yard at all. We headed back to the scene with Iris's curious note and one of the heaviest silver coins in hand.